Hello, my name is Guadalupe Fara, and today I'm going to talk about A Case of Identity by Arthur Conan Doyle. So, A Case of Identity is the story number 56 of the Sherlock Holmes stories. It also appears as the third story in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So let's talk a little bit about the author. So, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a Scottish writer and doctor. He studied medicine at Edinburgh University. He worked as a medical officer and a surgeon on a whaling boat. Then he settled in Portsmouth and divided his time between medicine and writing. So, now let's talk about the story. So, the characters that appear in the story are Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, Mary Sutherland, Mr. Windibank, and Mr. Homer Angel. So the story is set in Sherlock's lodgings at Baker Street in London. So one day Mary Sutherland appears. She visits Sherlock Holmes, and she is extremely worried and wants to find out the truth about her fiancé. Her fiancé had disappeared the day of their wedding. So she tells Sherlock about her family and her fiancé. She lived with her mother and her stepfather, Mr. Windibank, in her house. Her mother and father's house. Her father had passed away, and they all lived comfortably with the money from her father. So they all lived in the house with money that used to belong to their father. So Sherlock tells Mary that he is going to investigate about this case, investigate what happened. He wanted to find out what happened to her fiancé. So one day, it was a day after he had already found out what happened. Since he said that it was kind of an easy case, he invites Mr. Windibank, and he tells him the truth of the whole story. So Sherlock tells Mr. Windibank, Mary's stepfather, to come and visit him, and he tells him that he had found out the truth about Mary's fiancé, what happened to him. So Sherlock tells Mr. Windibank that he had found out that Mr. Windibank was actually Homer Angel. He was Mary's fiancé, but Mary did not notice this because she had she could not see very well. She had to wear glasses, and so he took advantage of this, and he faked being another man. He wore a costume. He wore a costume, and he even faked his own voice. So he finds out the truth about this, but Sherlock decides not to tell Mary the whole truth, because she would not believe it, and it would be kind of a mess. So let's talk about now a little bit about the adaptation of this story and the whole series of Sherlock Holmes stories on TV. So I'm going to talk about the adaptation of this story in one of a British TV series, which name is Sherlock. I think it is one of my favorites at the time. It is one of my favorites at this moment. The actors that appear in this series are Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes, Martin Freeman as Dr. John Watson, and Louise Brealey as Molly Hooper. So it is also set at Baker Street in London, and it is meant to be during it is meant to set in the present time. So we can see the series aired from 2010 to 2017. So it is basically nowadays. This story appears in the episode The Empty Hills, episode 1, season 3. And in the episode, we can see that Sherlock appears after 2 years missing. He faked his own death, and now he appeared all of a sudden. In this case, we do not see John Watson by his side, just like we see in the story, because since he disappeared and faked his own death, Watson was almost the only person that did not know that he was still alive. So he was very angry, and he did not want to work with Sherlock for the moment. So he decides to ask Molly for help, and they both start solving cases, right? This case that appears for I think a minute, not so much. So it tells the story. It tells like a very brief summary of the story. It depicts the story. It depicts a woman with a man. She's crying because she cannot find, because she doesn't know anything about her fiance. She had been sending text messages to this man, and he didn't appear. And so she's crying, and she is with her stepfather. And so Sherlock finds the truth about it in a very short amount of time. Like he's in this series, he's shown as a very intelligent man, and he finds the truth about the whole story and the whole case in a matter of minutes, basically. And well, he finds out that his stepfather was actually sending her messages instead of her fiance. Well, her fiance was her stepfather, And well, he wanted to have Hermione. So it basically tells the same story, but it is adapted to nowadays circumstances and lives, basically. So I hope you enjoyed my analysis and comparison of the short story and the series. And bye bye. See you later.